Hello, this is Clint Locklear from Wolfer Nation. We have a trapping podcast every Friday night, so come check out that. One of the things I put on my Facebook page that got way more response than I was expecting, I had several guys want detailed instructions on how to make bone broth. And if you've never had it, it's really good for you nutrition-wise, but it's very filling. You know, if you're trying to go out trapping all day off peanut butter and jelly or ham, you get hungry in a couple hours. That doesn't really happen with this. So I'm going to go through the process very quickly. Now, this is kind of a mixture. A lot of times you'll do either all deer or all beef or chicken or turkey or whatever. But this is a roast that we just cooked, and these are just some of the pieces that was right on the bone. There's a lot of collagen in between these, and that's kind of what we're looking at. This is a whole chicken that my stepmother peeled for Thanksgiving, so I'm just going to add these together. Now we've got our oven on 400 degrees, and I'm going to let this roast for an hour, and it just kind of chars it up, makes it taste a little bit better, and that's mostly the reason to do this. Now this is just dinner. That's just to go with our other deer roast. But slide this in, and we're gonna let that go for about 40 minutes, and we're gonna pull it out. I'll show you what it looks like, and you'll see how easy it is to make bone broth. And it's, like I said, for going out in the woods, it's really cool because it's like drinking a hearty soup, but there's a lot more nutrition in there, and you'll see how simple this is. Okay, we've roasted this for I think it was 400 for about 40-45 minutes. It's really changed the way it looks. You get all the crispies and all that stuff on here. And then it's so simple at this point, we're just gonna put this in the crock pot, and then we're going to put about 2 inches to 3 inches of water over it. Don't want to fill it totally to the top because you're going to put vegetables and stuff in there tomorrow. Now, because of the deer having such a big chunk, this is going to go for 24 hours. Now, if it was just a bird, turkey, or chicken, that's only about 8 hours. Now, all this is going to disappear, and it's going to be in the broth. And you might think of this like a cooking stock at a high-end restaurant, but this takes it even further. It's going to pull all that calcium, all that mineral, all the vitamins and stuff out of this and put it in liquid form. That's why one of the reasons it's so filling when you do it. Put this in the crock pot, a couple inches of water on top, and then put it on high for, you're going to go about 12 hours, and then I'll see you when we do that, because then I'll be putting the aromatics, which is onions, garlic, stuff like that in there, and it'll go for another 12 hours, then we'll strain it off, and you'll see how easy everything is. Okay, this has been going for 12 hours. I'm getting ready to show you a close-up of this. This is just all the meat that was in there. You can see what is happening to all the bones. A lot of the bones and stuff are disappearing. And this is what it is. Now, after 12 hours, we add the aromatics. Now, you don't have to copy what I'm doing. Just put in there what you like. I've got white onions, carrots, 5 or 6 things of garlic, parsnips, rosemary, thyme, and oregano. We use a lot of herbs because we grow them in our front yard, so we don't have to go buy them. But you could try turnips if you like those nasty things called rutabagas. You could give them a shot in here. Some people put celery. You can put whatever you want, what you like. And then you can put black pepper in this. Now, the next time you see this will be 12 hours from now. In about the last 30 minutes, I'm going to add sea salt to this, but you don't add salt to begin with because it'll evaporate out. There's a lot of evaporation going on. And this is not very complicated, like I said. And think of how cheap this is of what these ingredients are. It's something you're throwing away, and then you may have to buy a few vegetables, and you put it in here. So this whole thing is going to give me about a gallon of really good bone broth for maybe about $3 or $4 because it's thrown away. So I'm just going to stir this up. I'm going to let this cook for another about 11.5 hours, and then I'm going to add some pepper, then I'm going to add the salt. Then we'll show you what we do after that.
Is it on low or high right now?
It's on high, which is a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. We have this on high. Crock pots are different. You can do this on the stove if you want to, but this crock pot gets really high, and this will simmer. Actually see bubbles and stuff coming up. If your crock pot doesn't simmer, you may have to cook it longer to get the effect that you're looking for. So, but I've got it on high, 24 hours. It's just a simple way to do it. And I'll come back 11.5 hours from now and put some salt in here. Okay, the 24 hours is up. I've taken the barbecue tongs and I pulled out the vegetables and the meat. That'll go in the compost, and the chickens will eat on the deer meat, stuff like that. This is, you wouldn't want to drink this because there's bones and partially digested bones in this, and it looks pretty grody, so I wouldn't do that. So what I do is I drain this off, and if you want a really high quality looking product, you can do like the commercial guys do, and they use cheesecloths after they use a sieve. But I've got a jug that I just have for bone broth. I bought specifically for this. So on this batch, I'm gonna have a little short of a gallon, it looks like, which is fine. So this is the finished bone broth. I put salt in about 30 minutes ago. Oops, sorry, sweetie. Put bone broth in here. Oh. And that's what it looks like. And then I've got a cooler. Now here's the thing about bone broth. We're not canning this, at least I'm not. So because there's such a high fat content and lipid content in this, bacteria can grow in that very quick. If you put this in jars right now, stick it in your fridge, it's gonna melt everything in your fridge. If you stick it in your freezer, it's gonna melt everything in your freezer because that's really hot. That's at the point of simmering. So you don't wanna do that. So what I do, and this is because of watching Alton Brown when he talked about stock one time, is I've got a cooler that I sit this in, and I'm gonna put ice in this cooler. If it was colder outside, we just had a warm front come through, so I can't stick it out like I did the last batch. I want to cool this off as fast as I can. The longer you leave this, the more chance you're going to have of running into bacteria. It can be a problem. So I'll put this in this cooler, and I'm just going to let this sit here for about 30 minutes. 40 minutes till I feel it, and it's room temperature is about what I'm looking for. When it's at room temperature, I'm going to put it in pint jars. Now those pint jars are going to be cooled, and we're going to put them in the fridge. And then every morning when I get my bone broth, I just take a pint jar out, and then I put it in a small pan. This is kind of like the designated bone broth pan. It's a small one. I'll put it in here, and I boil that for about 2 minutes. So once it starts boiling, I give it about 2 minutes in case there's any bacteria that started growing in the bone broth because it's not canned. That way it kills any of that. And I just pour it in my fancy chicken mug here. I just pour it in there, and then if I want to drink it quick, I'll put a couple ice cubes. If not, I'll just let it go, and then I drink it like coffee. Now, when we did this on Facebook, I showed one where I was using chicken feet, and obviously that caused a big concern with people. I'm not eating the chicken feet, guys. I'm putting it in here for collagen. But because of the cut of deer and the chicken, I have plenty of collagen in here. If I was just using beef, pork, or deer, I would put chicken feet in here so I would get that collagen because your body needs it. And it's chicken feet is something you can find at a real Mexican type of store. You know, one that's a little scary to go into, it seems like sometimes they'll have chicken feet. You can get it, they're about 80 cents a pound. You put about half a pound, 3/4 of a pound inside of this with your beef or your deer, whatever, you get all that collagen. And then you strain it out just like we did right here. And then that's all there is to it. So this is not a complicated process, but it is a very healthy thing to drink. And if you want to have something you can take out on your trap line or just out deer hunting, you can drink this and you get really full because your body's getting a tremendous amount of nutrients and you don't get hungry real quick. And that's what we're all looking for when we're out there. So this is how you make bone broth. Pretty simple. It just takes some time for you to do it because it is a 24-hour process, but it's pretty easy once you get used to it.